Without further ado, I have got my 4 daughters on with me today. I've got Claire Gaddis Putterball and Kyla Gaddis and Stacy Gaddis and McCall Gaddis. And at the end of the last segment, McCall, I had asked your sisters, what do you love most about being back in Atlanta with your sisters? Now, it's only 3 of the 4 sisters, and hopefully we'll get the 4th one back, but who knows? Sometimes when they move to Colorado, we lose them to Colorado. We hope not, but hopefully you come back. But what do you love about living in the same city with your sisters? And you've only been back a week.
Well, honestly, I love everything about it. I always knew that I wanted to come back here, and I wasn't really sure if I would live at home for a little bit, or I knew I wanted to be in the city. I didn't really know when that would happen, but I love how I can still be in Georgia and be only 30 minutes away from where I grew up, but it can be a whole different lifestyle. Like, it's not like I'm living at home, even though I went to my home state. It's a completely different life that I'll be living. But I also get to keep the good parts, like being able to drive to go see my dad and mom and sister and her baby and live with my sister. And yeah, it's just a great situation for me, I think.
Now, during the break, Stacy said you should call her landlord. Are you not going to do that?
My landlord.
Yeah,
sorry, my landlord.
I think that is so fun. I love that you guys are roommates. Okay, we'll play a little game. You guys okay playing a little game?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to go Claire, Kyla, Stacy, then McCall. Would you prefer to live in a beach house, a lake house, or a mountain house? And this doesn't mean live there all the time. It could be that you just have it as like a vacation home. But which one would you prefer and why?
For me, beach house, 100%. I think just because I lived in Hawaii for almost 5 years, and what I would have given to live on the beach there, that would have been incredible.
Oh, that would have been amazing. But you had a great location. You were on top of I'm going to call it a mountain. It's probably more like a hill there. But you could see out over the ocean and the fancy resorts, and it was absolutely beautiful. And you had an in-unit townhome. So you had windows on the sides and the back, and it was just amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. It was an incredible view. Incredible.
All right, Kyla, same question for you. Beach house, lake house, mountain house, and why?
So I just went back and forth in my head about 7 times between mountain and beach house, but I decided I think I'm gonna live full time closer to a mountain, at least like enough where I can go ski in the winter. But if I had a separate house, I would need a beach house.
So Kyla,
Kyla,
I want to mention we do have the foothills of the Appalachian mountain chain in Atlanta. So we have Kennesaw Mountain. I think it's probably 500-600 feet tall, which is very close. You can ski. You absolutely can ski.
Perfect.
You have to wait for it to be an ice storm, and then you can actually slide down the side of the mountain.
We have to wait.
So I love that.
For the next ice age, literally.
I love that. So beach, but you'd like to live somewhere in the mountains. I love that. Mm-hmm. I love that. Okay, Stacy, now you. Beach, lake, or mountain?
Originally, I was going to say beach, and then I remembered my complexion and that I am not friends with the sun because I'm too pale. So I think I'm going to go lake house because of all the activities that come with having a lake house. I think it's a versatile option.
I love that. Okay, last but not least, McCall. Beach?
Lake house, 100%.
Okay.
Sorry.
Now, you have an unusual level of experience with a lake house. So tell everybody about the experience you had with lake houses growing up and why you want a lake house.
Well, my friends have had a lake house all throughout middle school, elementary school. I've just been going there for so many years, so many summers. I don't even do water sports or anything, but I just like being at the lake better. There's no sand. You can go back up to the house really easily, walking through grass, not sand. I don't know. I just feel like it's a lot better. And yeah, I feel a few of my friends actually have lake houses. So I've gone to experience different lake locations and different, like some lakes in Tennessee, some here. And I've loved all of them. I love being on a boat and just everything that comes with the lake.
So you just love the experience. I love that. Well, for me, it would be a mountain house. As Stacy, if you want to know where Stacy and McCall got their complexion from, they got it from their dad. So I burn very, very easily. In fact, I burn first and then I get out into the sun. It's really quite amazing. So being at the lake or a beach doesn't sound like a lot of fun to me because I don't love to be out in the sun. But in the mountains, I can be all up in the middle of the trees, maybe with a little view or something like that. And so for me, it would be a mountain home, and I bet someday I'm going to have a little place somewhere, North Georgia, Tennessee, North Carolina, something like that, just a little mountain house where we can go. And then, by the way, if I were to offer it to any of you, would you go? Would you take me up on that offer?
Yes.
I love that. I love that. I wish all of you who are listening on the radio right now could actually see. I can see all of my daughters on my computer screen here, and I just love it. I'm feeling so much love in my heart right now for these girls. It is absolutely, it's as all of you dads out there know, it's just an amazing thing to have kids, especially kids that you are proud of. Real quickly, what was it like growing up with a dad who was in real estate? McCall, I'll start with you.
I feel like I should know more about real estate. I don't know if maybe I just didn't listen that well, but I feel like maybe I do know a little bit more than the average person when it comes to some aspects of real estate. Like someone will say something and I'll have this weird bit of knowledge that they're like, wait, how do you know that? And I'm like, oh, both of my parents are in real estate. So yeah,
and I appreciate it. You didn't say anything about, well, my dad wasn't home a whole lot, and when he came home, he was upset because he had to deal with people all day long. Anyway, thank you for not saying that. Okay, Kyla, how about you?
I feel like it gave me a lot of random skills now. Like when I worked for y'all for the summer, I did all of your social media. I flew the drone. I did the Matterport stuff, and you know the drone story I'm talking about. For those of you who don't know, one time I was flying a drone trying to get footage of a lake house on Lake Lanier for my parents, and it was a brand new $2,500 drone. Crashed it into the lake, started panicking. I tried to make a raft and like literally swim across the lake to get it. Boat across the lake, and it sank, had to swim, got the drone, it still worked. Definitely a very good lesson in perseverance, and it gives me perspective now.
As I understand it, you got in the lake in your clothes and swam over there.
Oh, in my business clothes, my whole business outfit, everything. And I swam across Lake Lanier and then swam across it with the drone above my head all the way back to the other side, and it worked. So that was like one of the best, that was like the peak of my life. But anyways, learning how to do all of those things I was unfamiliar with, and then having them be so different than what I do in medicine, I feel like it's given me like a different perspective, especially when I'm going into looking for apartments or just things like that. I kind of know the ins and outs, like, okay, this camera, it's definitely, they're using like fisheye lens or whatever. And I know how to like do the Matterport to virtual tour and whatever. So I think it's just given me a different perspective than most people have.
I love that. I love that. Claire, how about you?
I think for me, it's definitely been more beneficial, like as an adult, to have you and mom both work in real estate, because all the resources that come along with it, like I know what Zillow is, and I can go onto Zillow and be like, oh, how much is this house in this area? And just be able to look at all of that. And my mom actually helped our good friends that moved from Hawaii here with us. They moved into our neighborhood. So I think it's just cool. It's cool to have those connections and just like the knowledge, like we can call you guys and ask you any questions and you'll know the answers.
I love that. Okay, Stacy, I don't think I got you yet, did I?
Nope, not yet.
Okay.
I'm going to echo Claire a little bit more. When you ask that question, I more so think of how helpful it is as an adult and moving into the home buying process. It just took a lot of fear out of the process because so many of us just don't know what we don't know. So we can't even get our foot in the door. But having you and mom as, real estate icons. I was able to have someone to ask a million questions to and feel no shame or no having to feel bad about asking too many questions. So it's been very, very helpful, especially in the past couple months of my life.
Oh, I love it. I didn't even know I was a real estate icon. Now I've got a quick question, and you can answer either yes or no, and that's it. And then we're going to wrap this baby up. Would you, and I'm starting with Kyla, would you ever consider a career in real estate?
As a in the future, yes.
For real? Okay, I love that. Somebody who's going to be a PA says maybe I'd get into real estate. Okay, Claire, how about you?
Yes, definitely. I think once my daughter turns maybe 1 or 2 or is going into preschool, I will absolutely get my real estate license. Maybe even before then.
Love it. McCall, yes or no?
Mostly no, a little bit yes.
That's okay. Stacy?
Yes. Side hustle.
I love that. I love that. Well, I can tell you right now, the best Father's Day gift that I could possibly have is to have you 4 for daughters. I absolutely am in love with all 4 of you. Happy Father's Day to all the dads who are out there listening today. Thanks for everything you do for your families, including your role in providing a good home. Tomorrow is Father's Day, and in celebration and recognition of all fathers all throughout Metro Atlanta and everywhere, I have 4 very special guests. I have the Gaddis Girls, as they were referred to for most of their lives. Not anymore, I would imagine, but for most of their lives, I have my 4 daughters. I have Claire, I have Kyla, I have Stacy, and I have McCall. And my question for you, Stacy, I want to pick up from the last segment is, how do you feel about home ownership? It was obviously important to you. You bought a house just recently.
Yeah, that's a good question because I feel like I had such a journey with it. I came out super eager, especially with both my parents being in the real estate business, super eager to buy at a young age just to kind of, get that step ahead. And then life humbles you really quick and circumstances change and money's hard to save and all that good stuff. So now coming out on the other side of it, I feel like it's such a big topic, but it's a great confidence boost in a lot of ways and a nice little security blanket in a way, even though it is a risk to do it. It definitely makes me more confident, more confident.
That's your own place. If you want to rip out some cabinets, you just rip them out. Isn't that right? Isn't that cool? Isn't that cool? Yes. And guys, I have to brag just a little bit. Stacy bought her first home when she had yet to turn 24. So that is so very exciting, and I just absolutely love that. Okay, McCall, how do you feel about home ownership? And no, I will not give you my house. I've told you before, you cannot have no, I'm just kidding. How do you feel about home ownership?
Well, obviously I'm not thinking too seriously into it right now. Yes. Obviously I would love to be like Stacy and be able to buy something even if it's not like a house, because that's a little bit unreasonable right now or just in a few years too. But yeah, I would love to. I feel like a lot of people in my generation, just even with all the social media, I always see this one TikTok and it's making fun of how people in the 1970s bought a house for 4 raspberries and now they're selling it for $2 million and no one can find anything, I feel like, for a cheap or a good, decent amount these days. That's how I think my generation kind of looks at it. But
that's such an interesting thing, and I hate that your generation would look at it as unattainable, and I hope that some things happen over the upcoming years that make it much more of a possibility for you, and you're not too far off. In 1979, my parents paid $117,000 for a home that today is probably worth $625,000 or $630,000. So that is raspberries to millions, absolutely, positively, for sure. So you all grew up in the same house, meaning your entire childhood you only lived in one home. There was a home our family bought when we moved from Chicago, which is where Claire and Kyla were born, back to Metro Atlanta for my job. And so I'd love to just start with you, and if you don't mind, McCall, I'm going to start with you. And like, what was your experience growing up in the home in Johns Creek? What are the things that you just remember most about that home that you just love?
Honestly, I absolutely loved everything about it. Our neighbors, we still hang out with her. She's one of our best friends and practically a sister to us. We had so many kids around our same age in the neighborhood, and we were able to walk to elementary school and high school and football games and everything like that. So it was honestly just perfect location, perfect setup. We had a great backyard. It was just the fun house to be. Everyone wanted to be there, and I loved it.
And what was your favorite room in the house?
Probably the basement.
Yeah, the basement. That's because no parents were down there?
Maybe.
I love that. Okay, Stacy, same question for you.
Okay, favorite part of our childhood home.
Favorite location or just memories, whatever.
Yeah, so everything she said, of course, the location was so amazing. And then we were also blessed to have a house where we could each kind of have our own nook, our own room for the most part. And the backyard was a huge pro. It was amazing. Our dogs were, always running around, trampoline, hot tub. It was just like a wonderland. I loved it.
I love that. Okay, Kyla, how about you? Favorite things about living, and Stacy, you didn't give your favorite room in the house, favorite location in the house, sorry.
Favorite room in the house was the kitchen.
Oh, tell me why.
So many memories of baking cookies late at night, cooking dinners with mom all the time. Just beautiful memories made in the kitchen.
I love that. And it got a facelift about 4 or 5 years before we sold it, which made it even nicer. Okay, Kyla, same question for you. Favorite memories and then favorite location in the house or in the yard.
Okay, this might be like kind of unexpected, but this is the first thing that popped into my head when you asked the question. So it was when we were growing up and mom like redid the basement and ripped out some things and she built the curtain, the stage. And so we would have friends over and put on entire productions and plays and film movies in our basement. And it was like a built-in pretend stage. And then also, we were allowed to like decorate the walls. And so we got like, Mish let us have, I call our mom Mish, she let us have little like paint pens and all of our friends for birthday parties. We like decorated the basement walls and they stayed like that for a couple of years. And so that's like my early first, like, I guess, favorite area, like the early basement. But as I got older, I would say my favorite room in the house would also be the kitchen, like Stacy, because I feel like we just had so many fun times with people just hanging out on the couch, and you could talk to them easily from the kitchen, hang out around the big island, cooking, listening to music, just having a very relaxed, fun, like just a great time with people you love. So yeah, I don't know, those are my two.
And I remember some of the plays that were put on in the basement, especially around Thanksgiving. It was so much fun. We would all march to the basement and we would see a performance of you and all your cousins. Claire, how about you? Favorite memory and then favorite location in the house or yard?
I think some of my favorite memories are building forts in the woods behind our house with all my sisters and some of the other neighborhood kids. That was just so cool to me that we had a gorgeous, amazing, huge backyard. And then even behind that, we had like a little section of woods before the elementary school. And it was just so fun to go back there and like just be free, wild kids. And I think my favorite room in the house now as an adult, I would say the kitchen. As a wild 17-year-old, I would say the basement or the hot tub, little patio area that we had.
And good advice for dads. If you have daughters, don't buy a hot tub. Just don't buy the hot tub. Hot tub is amazing, but then boys want to get in the hot tub and Daddies get
not even with boys.
Daddies get very, very nervous. No, the hot tub was absolutely amazing. In fact, all of you know that I don't have a hot tub in my current home, and it's probably one of the things that I miss most. For me, my favorite memory and my favorite location is the backyard. In fact, a couple of maybe a week ago, Stacy forwarded a picture to me that she saw posted on Facebook, and it was a picture of how the people who bought our home are using the backyard, and it just stopped me in my tracks, and it brought back all of these amazingly positive, good feelings. I wouldn't trade even a single minute living in that house. I wouldn't do that. Okay, Kyla, real quickly, if you had to estimate when you're going to buy a home or a condo, let's hear the year.
My gosh, Dad. Okay, let me think.
Okay.
To buy one. Okay, right now it's 2024.
Yep.
Probably 2020. Almost 2028, probably.
2028. Okay, so less than 4 years, 3.5 years. I love that. Okay, McCall, give us a date that you plan to buy your first home. And we're just having fun. We're not going to hold you to it for sure.
I think I would say probably 2028 too, maybe. Okay. Or if I'm really good at saving, like Stacy was, then possibly earlier. But I think I just want to live with someone though. Like, I think I enjoy living with a roommate for now. Stacy.
And I love that because it gives your dad an unauthorized look into what's going on in your life. For example, when you took a nap the other day after all of your chores, I got to see a picture of you all tired taking a nap, and I love that. I get to see inside of your lives, and it is so much fun. Okay. 3 of you live in Atlanta. 1 of you is in Denver, and we're hoping that she will come back to Atlanta. But unfortunately, sometimes you lose people to Colorado when they move there. They don't ever move back. What do you love, the 3 of you who are here in Atlanta, Claire, McCall, and Stacy, what do you love about living in the same city with your sisters?
Everything.
Yeah, everything. I think seeing them so often is like really what I wanted when I decided to move back here. I want my son to grow up with his aunts all around him. And, of course, we can't wait for Kyla to come back and be a part of his life. And I see them almost every weekend, which is amazing because I FaceTimed them like every single day when I was living in Hawaii. So, yeah, they're definitely my best friends.
Stacy and McCall, how about you?
I think a cool part of Atlanta is you can drive 30 minutes and be in a completely different environment. Yep. And be surrounded with completely different people. So I, as a young, single working woman, I like being closer to the city. But my beautiful older sister is 40 minutes north and in a completely different location. So it's very, like she said, suburbia, slow paced. So I really get it all. And of course, love all the time that I get to spend with my besties.
I love that. I've got 4 very special guests for a Father's Day show. I've got my 4 daughters. So say hello, girls. I've got Claire Putterball, Claire Gaddis Putterball. I got to get that right. Yeah. Claire Gaddis Putterball. And then I've got Kyla Gaddis.
Hi.
And I have Stacy Gaddis.
Hey, guys.
And I have McCall Gaddis.
Hi, everyone.
That's my crew, all 4 daughters, and I'm so proud of them, and I'm so glad to have them here. I want to remind you real quickly, if you want to connect with me about anything at all, go to gogaddisradio.com. It's GOGADDIS radio.com. You can ask questions that we answer on air or off air. You can make comments. You can push back or challenge things we say. You can share your ideas, and you can subscribe to our podcast. We're available on every major podcasting platform. So let's start with you, Claire, if you don't mind. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself, and I want to just start out with one thing. Claire and her husband last November moved from Hawaii back to Atlanta, made her dad very, very happy. Pick it up from there, Claire.
Yes, so me and my husband met in Honolulu, and we got married, and I had my kid the next year, my son Jesse, and as soon as we had him, we realized we are going to need some help, especially because we wanted to grow our family quickly after that. So we moved back. We're living in Woodstock now.
Yep.
Which I grew up in Johns Creek, so I'm really familiar with the area and everything. So glad to be back.
And how are you enjoying being in Atlanta specifically? Are you really getting familiar with the area? Because it's not an area that you spend a lot of time in growing up. I certainly get over there every chance I can, and I love it. But how are you enjoying being back in Atlanta?
I love it. It's more relaxed. It's less like busy. Honolulu is so packed and crowded, and there's so much traffic. And I spend a lot of time in like Canton, Marietta, Duckworth, kind of like over here, and it's a lot more slow paced.
I love that. So anybody who wants to move to Atlanta, it seems to me like you're giving them a thumbs up. Is that right?
Yes, definitely.
Now, I can't think of anything else that's going on important in your life. I mean, it's just kind of a normal old. Do you have anything exciting that you might want to tell everybody about?
I am 35 weeks pregnant with a baby girl, and her name is going to be Remington.
Ooh,
so
we're going to call her what?
Yeah, we just announced it. Remy.
And this weekend we had a baby shower, and I was going to write something to Remy, but I didn't know how we were going to spell Remy. So I just put sweet baby girl, and I figured I would see how you were going to spell Remy. R-E-M-I. I love that.
Yes.
I think that's such a great thing, and you're due early July, but who knows, might come before, huh?
Yes, hopefully she will come before. I'm ready to have her here with us.
Well, I know you've got 3 sisters that are ready to be all over that little girl. That's 100% true. Okay, Cleve Gaddis, you are currently in Denver. Tell everybody what you're doing in Denver.
In Denver, I'm currently attending PA school at the CU Anschutz Medical Campus.
Okay.
And little shout out to myself. I just started my very first day of my 3rd year today.
Good.
And so I only have 1 year left, and I could not be happier. I wish I could fast forward time. I'm so ready to start working.
I love that. And you started rotations. That means now you're out working. I'm going to say in the real world. It's not you were in the real world before, but you're out actually practicing.
Yeah, exactly. So my program is a little different than other PA programs. Usually there's 1 year of just in the classroom, and then the second year you're in the clinic. Ours had 2 years in the classroom with little clinic stuff sprinkled in about once a week or just every now and again. But this today is the first day of my full-time clinical experience. So I'll be switching rotations every month for the next 12 months until I graduate. And right now I'm in endocrinology, thyroid, and diabetes.
Ooh, we all need some help on those areas for sure. And so in Denver, because it's a real estate show, what is your living situation? Did you buy a house? I know the answer to this question. Do you live in an apartment?
You know I didn't buy a house. I wish.
Okay.
I live in an apartment right now. It's on the Anschutz Medical Campus. I moved to Denver without knowing anyone, and my roommate in my program lived in Denver, found this apartment. It was a walks away from our classes we had to go to every single morning. And so Aurora is not a great location. It's definitely not the place to visit in Denver. It's close enough to it. You can get to Denver, but I have lived in this apartment for 2 years, and come end of this month, I am moving into an apartment in Denver near Sloan's Lake, if anyone knows the
Sloan's
area.
Lake. Okay, if you're in the Sloan's Lake area, maybe they could look you up. Mm-hmm. Well, that is so fun. We got a lot more coming from you, Kyla, coming up sometime soon. And if you've just joined us, you're listening to Go Gaddis Real Estate Radio right here on AM 920 The Answer. I'm Cleve Gaddis, host of the show, and I have all 4 of my daughters on the air with us this morning. Now, Stacy Gaddis, you're my 3rd daughter. Tell everybody what's going on in your life right now.
Yeah, so some big changes recently, especially in the real estate aspect of my life.
This is so exciting.
Yes. So I lived in an apartment for about 8 months, had been wanting to buy, but it just wasn't quite right. Couldn't get my ducks in a row. But all the stars aligned last month, April, I think. Time flies. But I purchased my first piece of property, a little condo, 2-bedroom, 2-bath.
Indicator, such a great area, not too far from where I was born. So, Stacy, real quickly, and I should have asked Kyla this, who was your roommate before you moved into your apartment on your own? And was he a good roommate or was he awful?
So I found this random roommate. His name was Cleve Gaddis. He is my father, actually.
We were roommates for about a year.
Yeah, about a year exactly. It was amazing. Helped me, save up. It was perfect for the time I was at in my life. And it was great. Best roommate ever.
And how was your grocery?
Except for me.
How was your grocery bill when you lived with your dad?
Oh my gosh, if I could turn back time, that was such a huge help. Yes. Free groceries, free living. It was amazing. Thank you, Dad.
Okay, so what do you do for a living?
I am a registered nurse.
Yes.
And I work in oncology, hematology oncology, so blood cancer, specifically lymphoma. I work in the outpatient setting, and I love it. It's an amazing job.
And you're living your life in your own place. Every time I come down there, I get so excited because I remember what it's like buying my first home, and I just love that. Last but certainly not least, and unfortunately she's always listed last because she's the youngest of the four.
I am.
We've got McCall Gaddis. McCall Gaddis, I understand that you just graduated from college.
That is true.
Where'd you graduate
I just did.
Where did you graduate from college from?
I graduated from University of Tennessee.
Love it. And then if you
Go Vols.
Go Vols, or Rocky Top we'll always be. So you can graduate summa cum laude, magna cum laude, or you can graduate. How in the world did you graduate? Did you graduate with some honors?
Yeah, I did. I graduated summa cum laude.
Yeah.
I always feel like I say the last part of that word wrong.
That was perfect.
But yeah, I had a 3.99 GPA, which I was really proud of.
That is so great. And what are you going to be doing next? And are you going to be renting, or are you going to be buying?
So I'm a renter. I'm actually Stacy's tenant.
Oh, so I
just moved in with her.
Should we refer to her as your landlord on today's session?
Yes, my landlord.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. So
yes.
we have McCall and her landlord. I love that.
Yes. And I got a job in Buckhead working in wealth management as an associate of accounting and financial reporting.
And you start to work when?
A little less than 2 weeks from now on June 17th.
That's going to be so exciting. And Stacy, real quickly, if she doesn't pay her rent on time, how many days grace period is she going to have before you file eviction paperwork on her?
Immediate eviction. Immediate. She'll be out on the streets.
McCall, if you get in trouble, call your dad. We will make sure you don't get evicted, okay?
I can pay you in taking the trash out or something.
Yes, I made her take the trash out today, and I made her do the dishes. So
Hey, I did the dishes on my own, actually.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Yeah, McCall, I said, McCall, what are you worried about? I'm worried about having to cook all my own food. And, when you're in college and you got a meal plan and stuff like that, it's easy to be kind of spoiled. Well, guys, I can't tell you how excited I am to have all of you on the radio show with me. I want to go through a real quick question. We've got about 2.5 minutes left in the segment. Claire, how do you feel about home ownership? You and Justin have owned a townhome in Hawaii. You purchased a home in Atlanta, sight unseen, had never even seen it, and moved into it. How do you feel about being a homeowner?
I love it. I love the freedom that comes with it. I think my only issue with it is that, we went from having a townhome with maybe a 10 by 10 backyard that we had to take care of, and now we have half an acre that was totally just not taken care of for the past who knows how many years, probably 5 years or so. So everything's overgrown. There's a lot to do, but I'm so grateful that we have this piece of property, and there's plenty of time to work on it. And I have amazing neighbors that have been helping us. And
totally. Yeah. And a dad who's willing to drive a Bobcat and smooth out the yard. We're going to do that sometime soon. Okay, Kyla, how do you feel about home ownership? I know you don't own a home, but how do you feel about home ownership?
It honestly still feels like such a far-fetched, attainable dream for me, because everyone I'm around every day, we are just in debt, paying for student loan, paying for tuition, paying for this, that, and the other. And so people who are a little bit older than me in my class, they still don't even own a home. Half of them do. And so it's something that not really my crowd talks about as much, because we're still on the come up. And so we need to wait until we're actually getting those first paychecks to even, get a loan approved to get a mortgage, buy a house and stuff. So it kind of feels like a far away dream for me, but I'm excited to get closer to that point because renting is not, I wish I didn't have to rent. I could tell there's a lot of money that's just being flushed down the drain, you know.
Sounds to me like that is a check in the box of I want to be a homeowner someday.